Good evening, associates, and welcome back to the Backroom Crew podcast. In this portion of the podcast, we're going to bring up What's the Deal? And tonight's What's the Deal is pretty much, we've been in a new generation, in a new age. We're millennials, and we pretty much, just like before us with each generation, they always had some way to listen or watch or, gain new media and everything like that, entertainment or whatnot. It was said long ago in a song, video killed the radio star. Now, I will have to say that YouTube killed the video star.
Wow.
Yeah. So, my what's the deal for today is, what's the deal with media outlets like YouTube and basically the entertainment that it brings, like, you watching stuff on YouTube and everything like that. I'll go ahead and start off. Basically, I don't watch that much regular TV anymore. Sometimes I'll catch something when I go over to a friend's house, like my cousin's house or something like that. I may watch a series and everything like that. Always make sure that I keep track of, like, he videotapes stuff on, DVR, so I watch some sitcom shows that he watches, stuff like that. Some of it's really interesting, some of it's just boring. Other stuff I would watch, like wrestling. I would watch the comic book shows, which I need to catch up on a lot of them. But where you catch up with those shows on, you catch up with them on, streaming services like Netflix and Hulu and stuff like that. Or the internet, because you can find anything on the internet, pretty much. But, most of the stuff I usually check out is on YouTube. Like, there's dedicated YouTuber series that I watch or whatnot, and I, listen to their stuff. Other than listening to our stuff, I watch it to make sure, everything's going all right and try to get pointers on how we can improve and everything like that. But I don't know. I don't tend to go to regular TV as much. The radio is always there because it's like you're in the car most of the time. You're going to turn on the radio and you want to hear what's going on the radio or whatnot. But as far as most as far as videos on the internet, yeah, that's where I pretty much go for it. And I think that the YouTube aspect, I don't think it's necessarily going to kill TV all out together, but they're going to have to find some middle ground. Like, they're going to have to find something to make it so, like, oh, well, TV is good for this, and YouTube or internet like that is good for that. Because there's stuff like, a lot of people are saying stuff like ESPN. I know most of us don't follow sports, but stuff like that is dying down because people get their, news for that sports stuff online. They get updates, live updates online or whatever. They don't go to ESPN, Sports Center anymore to get their updates. And I guess it'd be the same thing for entertainment for us now. We don't go to a lot of the stuff that we used to watch. It's like, what was it? One of the best things was G4, where they had, American Ninja Warrior and they had Attack of the Show.
I miss G4.
Exactly.
I miss G4.
And they used to have that, and they also have like Cartoon Network, but even Cartoon Network has decided to update and they stream stuff now, like with Adult Swim and everything. They stream their shows. It's not the day of, but it comes like a day later, so you can always watch it. So even they have pretty much updated it. So I guess, yeah, I'm all for this, new update for the coming to video. So, Wes, what do you think? Are you embracing this update in video?
I don't know. I hate that I'm a little impartial about this.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, the content. When you're talking about content, you're talking about people, people spending money to enjoy a little bit of their free time. It's a difficult, I would have to say that I'm okay with it. YouTube as a whole really needs to continue its steamroll when it comes to building up its own content. I mean, when they came out with YouTube Red, I mean, everybody was kind of, I don't know, I'm on the fence about this. I purchased it. I have it right now. And for what it delivered, it's worthwhile. Like, I can deal with it.
I have to say it is actually worth it. I got the free trial and I didn't get a chance to like purchase it, but
right.
Yeah, it was actually worth it because, I mean, when you think about it, us as content creators supporting other content creators, even if it's just by not going to stuff like pop-up blockers or, getting YouTube Red so it will still work out and benefit them in the long run, I think that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you think about it, in the long run, this format, maybe not YouTube or any service, YouTube, Facebook decides to do it, Facebook Watch, it's going to be something big. I know a lot of the old, generic, it's never going to beat the TV or whatever like that, may not believe it, but a lot more people are watching it now.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm excited about Facebook's decisions and how they do their content streaming. It is really going to be beneficial for content creators to start putting out their content in the early run, but I'm not sure if they're going to take the YouTube route or not, because the last thing we need is another apocalypse.
Yeah.
And so That's the thing. It's like, oh, Christ.
Yeah. I think that's really the last thing we need. So.
So that's the last thing that I think that we would need is something to just make all the effort that everybody puts in go away.
Mm-hmm.
Or it just doesn't matter, or you have to be good, or I'm sorry, that's it. So I don't know. As far as the whole conversation, though, yeah, I'll go with it.
Okay. Dre?
Speaking as someone who is very hesitant to invest on certain things, I don't mind being able to a la carte a lot of the media that's coming out right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm worried about it subdividing too much. It's one thing to go, okay, well, we have, you have a couple choices and those choices have their own thing. But now you're like, okay, well, CBS has got their own app. And then, you have the HBO, you have the Hulu, you have the Netflix, right? Then you have the Crunchyroll, you have Funimation, and then you have a parent app called Verve, which apparently includes all of those. So I don't know if you pay for one, you get all of them, and even what the pricing schedule on that is. Because it's like, that doesn't seem like it work out too well, being that if it's going to Verve and everybody gets a cut, then that means that each individual person will get less than if they went to the original app. And if you go with the Verve, for instance, does that even apply to like original services like Crunchyroll or Funimation?
I think Verve is an easier interface than the Crunchyroll app, and they put the big name stuff up there. They put the big name and the new premiere stuff on Crunchyroll. Cause Crunchyroll is pretty much like a backlog of different animes that they've released that's been, subbed or whatnot. But I think that Verb is like, it's got original content, like it's got Cyanide and Happiness up there. It's got new anime that has never been seen before, and it's got like big name anime like Dragon Ball Super. So that's what I think Verb is really.
But it's just like, okay, so that means that will I need, and this is now I'm going to try to get to the core of my argument. Will I need a separate app every time I want to watch something new that's not already carried on this network? Is that just another program that I will need to install on my phone, or another website I will need to go to on my browser? And it's like, at that point, why would I've already got like firewalls and anti-adware stuff. Why wouldn't I just go to the places I normally go? The same way that everybody in my Facebook's talking about their Fire Stick being the best thing in existence for undisclosed reasons.
Yeah.
It's like I could go through and I wouldn't mind, but now it's just getting kind of silly.
With everybody breaking away from the conglomerates that they were a part of.
Like, no, I don't mind them being their own thing. And in fact, I like that Netflix and Hulu and, whatever else is out there, they're all fighting for your dollars. It's just, at some point, the value of having all of those different services is going to be swamped by the extra additional cost.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And that's what's dumb.
And I guess that's just where a person is going to have to make the decision. Ultimately, it was what would be the best route to go for their own entertainment. And like, if the content is spaced out, it would make it even difficult. It's like, God, man, it's like if you had 3 different shows and each of those shows were originals on 3 different platforms, you would have to buy subscriptions for 3 different platforms. Or 3 different platforms in order to watch.
Well, you're going to have that soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're going to have that soon because, I think we talked about it before with Marvel having their own streaming service, DC having their own streaming service.
Streaming.
Yeah, I mean, that's the ways everybody going.
Everybody was trying to get away from paying money to Cox and Time Warner and whoever else.
Because because here's the thing. Nobody actually wants to...
Comcast, that was the other.
Nobody actually wants to freaking pay for stuff that they're not going to look at. If you never watch Lawn and Garden, if you never watch Lifetime, but you have to pay for those things, there is where the intrinsic value of something like Hulu lies.
Right. Well, but then again, you're going to have your cable... that's going to have a lot of the shows that you would watch out there anyway. And if they're spacing themselves out and charging you subscription fees, what's stopping you from going back to cable and then just, suffering the $80 a month, money creep? Because at that point, you probably end up spending that much just trying to watch your favorite shows anyway.
Well, here's a question, and just make this short and quick between both of y'all. Okay. Do you think with the rise of more streaming services like this, do you think that these networks or these companies like Marvel, Fox, or DC, or whoever, or Warner Bros., whoever decide they're going to do it, do you think they're going to push for the internet to be better? Like, basically,
are you talking about bringing in like your Google, your internet?
Yes, basically do that, bring in Google Fiber and stuff like that. Do you think they're going to push for the the internet?
That's
I forgot
the
joke,
though.
The law and everything.
That's a joke. The existing oligarchy has broken Google Fiber. Mm-hmm. They have the territories that they currently have. They're sticking with those. But their plans to expand nationwide have been stymied so hard, they've literally had to stop so they can go ahead and redo their business plan. Because Cox and Comcast and Charter have all basically banded together to stop them. Because, Google is right. The American internet infrastructure is garbage. It is complete and utter trash.
So I'm asking, do you think that these places are going to try to do it?
No.
Okay.
It is not. They're trying to keep Google out because Google presents an actual and very serious threat. As long as they can prevent Google from expanding to their existing territories, they don't actually have to worry about upgrading. That's the reason why they're spending so much money, instead of upgrading their system, that's why they're spending so much money on, stymieing Google. Because if Google rolls out fresh groundwork and giving people gigabits of speed at a third of the cost, it's going to destroy them.
Yeah.
I think that the push for it shouldn't die. Just because that, the opposition's there. I mean,
it's not that the push for it died. It's that the cost, the general cost of all of the red tape that's getting thrown in their way is killing the momentum.
Right. And I agree with that too, but to answer your question for me, I would have to say that I feel like the different companies would only do that if it benefited, or they would try to push for it if it only benefited them. So it's like, yeah, you can watch your show, faster on this service now, but is that really going to help them with sales? I believe so. I believe that in the end, it would come down to, the quality that you're getting, aside from the price.
Mm-hmm.
If I can watch my stuff on Netflix better than I can watch it on Hulu, then I'm going to watch it on Netflix.
Yeah.
If I want to entertain people, then that's what my go-to is going to be. So, I don't know. I think that right now, no. But it could get to a point to where, yes, it would. Or they would. Just solely off of quality alone.
Okay. All right. Well, with this, I think the quality of life, it is a big factor, because it's going to start to get to the point where the internet, having use of the internet is going to be something that is going to be like needed, necessary, like water or electricity. But again, like Dre said, this is also gives companies the perfect opportunity to dick over everyone and try and basically own it to the point to where it's like where you're going to be paying for it out the wahoo, so to speak.
Wahoo. All right. Gotcha.
Yeah.
As a quick example, there's a neighborhood out in Oregon, right? They live in the Sound itself, so they're on a small island. Mm-hmm. They had Comcast. The problem with the Comcast line was that the line itself was damaged, and Comcast said it was not financially viable to repair that line. So what they ended up having to do was literally buy bandwidth from a cell tower and set up a wireless network across the entire island and have everybody buy in. But because everybody did that ends up being more reliable, faster, and cheaper than Comcast's own. And it's dumb.
Yeah, it's dumb.
At the end of it, that's all you can say. It's just dumb. It's dumb.
That's because it's like your basic, and that's the thing I hate. It's that they're essentially a utility at this point.
Yeah,
they're a utility, but they're fighting so hard not to be classified as a utility, even though they're a utility. Because if they're a utility, they're regulated. Mm-hmm. And I know that a lot of people are trying to make regulation a bad word. But regulation's the reason why we have a current society that we do have. Regulation's the reason why we have taxes. Regulation, and the reason why the taxes are supposed to be. Now, mind you, not everybody is legit, and not everybody's honest, but taxes are supposed to be used to maintain and upgrade the state.
Yes.
And that is for the good of all.
Yes, they are.
But Lord knows, you start talking like that, everybody's gonna be, oh my God, you're a fucking socialist. Get out.
You're trying to raise taxes. It's like, how do you expect stuff to get better? How do you expect stuff to get...
We can outsource. You mean like to Mexico?
All right, guys. All right.
Yeah.
Anyways, enough of this politics speak.
Yes.
The salt levels are kind of
all right.
here.
Well, that's pretty much it. So, I want to thank you guys for tuning in to the Backroom Crew podcast and What's the Deal? This portion of the podcast.